Welcome to this webinar, which is a demo of Essential. If we can save questions to the end, I'll run through some views and some editors, and then we'll take questions after the demo. Thank you. So first of all, this screen I'm showing you here is the Essential Viewer screen. This is the first screen you'll see when you come into Essential. This is really just to show that you can have any number of different portals set up, and we do recommend that you set up different portals for different roles and different types of users. So for example, your solution architects will have a different portal containing different views from your senior management team. They would just want a couple of high-level dashboards. Your solution architects obviously want more detailed views and where they can maintain the data. So you can set up as many of these as you like. I'm just going to go into our enterprise architecture portal, which is where we have our demo. You can see in here that we have this split by architecture layer. So we've got enterprise views here. These are the views. We've got business views, application, information and data, technology, and our support views. So you'll see all of the views here. As I mentioned, it's good to cut this down and make sure that you're only showing the views that are specific to the person that's using that portal. And then here we've got the catalogs, and then we've got the editors here where you can maintain data. So in this demo, I'm just going to run through some of the key views to show you some different types and some different things that we do. So the first one I'm going to look at is the business capability dashboard. Okay, once we've gone into the business capability dashboard, you can see that there's different overlays. We're at the moment looking at the application overlay. We can see we've got our capabilities here. This shows the level that your capability model goes down to. You can choose to look at it at any different level that you want. So we're going to look at it in 4 levels, and it just embeds. So here we can see we've got 2 levels, here we've got 3 levels, and somewhere further down here we go down to 4 levels, and it will just keep embedding. As I said, we're looking at the application overlay here, so we can see here the number of applications that are supporting a capability. We can see here whether it's a commodity or a differentiating capability, and we can see the scope of that capability, whether it's global, regional or local. So if we scroll down a bit and look at the application supporting pricing strategy, again, we can see here a list of those 7 applications. We can see the lifecycle status and the disposition model, or the time model, some of you may know it as. If we expand here, we can see more details about this application. So I can see it actually supports 9 capabilities. It's used by 9 organisations in 17 processes, and it provides 8 services. And in Essential, what we mean by services is the functionality that that application offers to the business. So if you think of an HR application, for example, it will do things like payroll management, training management, employee onboarding, those types of things. It's really useful to capture what your applications do because it's very important for either rationalisation or gap analysis. So here it's interesting to know that you've got 7 applications supporting this capability, but the next question is going to be, do I need all of them? Can I get rid of any? If you don't know the services they provide, it's very hard to compare them. So that's why we use services. Now, you don't have to have them. If you don't know the services at this point in time, you can add them later on, but that option is there. We also don't connect directly from application to capability. We go via process and organisation. And there's a reason for this. In most large organisations, you'll find that you have different organisations performing the same process using different applications. Sometimes there's a good reason for that. It could be regulatory requirements. Sometimes it's just because you've had a merger or you've bought a company, or you were very autonomous and your organisation used to go out and buy its own applications. Again, it's important to understand that if you're thinking of rationalisation or that sort of thing, you need to understand, well, is there a reason that I need 2 different applications for this process in these different areas, or could I combine it? Without knowing the process in the organisations, you can't do that. Again, if you don't have process, we have ways and means of getting those for you. We can create placeholders. We've got some AI options that can create processes for you. But again, it's important that that option is there. And when you come to sort of do the detailed analysis in that area, you can model that to that level of detail. You can get a bit more detail about this application. So if I click show details here, I can see a summary of it. So I can see disposition, lifecycle status, and so on. I can update these. So if actually this is in private cloud, I can select that there and update it. I can also see which of the capabilities it supports, which processes it supports. I can get more information about any of these. I can see the integrations it has with other applications. I can see all the services it could provide and the ones we use in our organisation. So again, you could see that you could use this app for more than you are using it for. May or may not cost more money, but interesting to know. We can also get a comparison of the applications here as well. So I can compare, well, how many services across all of these applications, how many do they provide, how many do we use, what's the cost of the different applications supporting this capability, and what's the usage of them, how much are they used in processes and the technical complexity. If you have looked at this and you thought, I think there's quite a lot of duplication here across these applications, you can go and look at this in a rationalisation view. And this will open up a view and it puts those applications in your basket. So you can use this view across your whole estate, or it's put those 7 applications that support that capability in my basket. And if I pick one of those, then it does in comparison. So I can see that Black Curve here provides all these areas of functionality to processes. And actually these 2 other applications do exactly the same thing, whereas these ones do other things as well. You can get some more information about here. So if I click this question mark here, I can see that actually this application here is a low complexity app. So this is looking at the processes and integrations that it has and saying, actually, it's low complexity. It's got no integrations. It only supports 2 processes. Therefore, it's going to be quite easy to unpick from the organisation. And this is the cost saving that I would make. If I look at this one here, for example, this is high complexity because it's actually got 8 integrations. It's supporting 30 processes. So although it's going to save more money, to unpick from this organisation is going to take some time and be quite costly. You can look at different scenarios here as well. So if, for example, I select Energy Cap, it's showing me here that Energy Cap can't replace anything in its entirety, but actually it could be replaced by Entronics here. And it gives me the options here. So if you wanted to replace Energy Cap, you've got to replace all of these services that it provides to the organisation. And then it's going to show you how easy or hard that is to do it. And again, you can choose to have a look at that, and pick what you're going to do. So actually, if I'm going to get rid of this, I'm going to retire Voltex and I could enhance Entronics, and that would enable me to get rid of that application. I can see then I can choose to do that. So I could pick that, and then in my cost analysis, you can see what you're going to do. You're going to retire an application and you're going to replace it by enhancing these applications. It's going to save you that much money and it's going to cost this much to remove it. And this is based on some scenario analysis we put in around number of days per integration and processes and so on. And you can add this as, retire Voltex, for example. So you can add that to your options to be reviewed at a later date and either create a proposal to do that or to remove it. So just going back to our business capability dashboard, there's some other things you can do on here. We do have other overlays, but also you can scope all of the views. So you'll notice across here we've got scoping and roadmap. I'll come back to roadmap later, but you can scope the view. So I could pick to scope it by various different things. So geography, business unit, domains, and so on. And you can select what you want to scope it by as well. One that's used often, obviously, is business unit hierarchy. So this is organisation. So if I was the head of acquisitions, I may just want to look at this view from my perspective. And it's now only going to show capabilities and views that I am using. So now we're going to look at some other views in the application layer. Obviously, we have got lots in the business layer, but we can't show everything. So if we look, we have a reference model in every layer. So this is the application reference model. This is very similar to the business capability dashboard in that you're looking at the services, if you like, the functionality that your applications provide, but it doesn't have that business slant on it. It just is looking at it from an application perspective. So these are the application capabilities I need. These are the services I need, so the functionality I need to provide to the business, and then I can click here and I can see all the applications that could provide that service. You can also see life cycles on here, so you can see whether the application and the service is in production or prototype or sunset. And if you expand here, you can also see standards as well. So if you want to do data processing, then AdExcel is the recommended application for that. So you can understand the standards across your organisation. We also have some views that allow you to sort of slice and dice your application estate. So if I look at my application dashboard, again, you can filter these if you want to look at it from a specific organisation, but it's allowing you to sort of slice and dice and look at your application. So your application estate by disposition lifecycle, for example, by by life cycle status. So luckily we can see that most of our applications are in production, not that many are in sunset, by code base status, by delivery model, and so on. So again, you can pick different things to measure them by, and you can see in here how it looks across your organisation. You can send these off to a PowerPoint if you want to view that in a PowerPoint file. We have views that look at, for example, the cost of your application estate. So again, if I looked at a cost dashboard, this is showing me the cost per application. So these are my most expensive applications with a breakdown of the type of cost. This is the breakdown of the application cost by type of cost. So we can see here that support cost is our most expensive cost. Important to note that these types aren't hard coded. So you enter these and the view will pick them up. You can see by code base status, by delivery model. And then we've got the costs against the capability model. So the flag shows your differentiating capabilities, and then the darker the colour, the higher the cost. So you can click here to see what the applications are on the cost. But basically as a high level view, it's showing you, well, in terms of differentiating capabilities, am I spending my money in the areas that are going to differentiate me from my competitors? And then you've got the breakdown of the cost by application. We obviously do have dependency views, so obviously people, a key view for people is understanding the dependencies between applications. So we can look at it from an individual application perspective. So if I look at Add Excel here, I can see that it gets information from all of these apps, it sends it to these apps, these go direct, these go via an API. If you've captured the information, you can click here and you can get more detail. So I can see that this is an energy trends feed, it goes monthly, it goes via batch file upload, and this is the information that it's populating. So again, you can choose to just model to a high level, there is an integration, or you can get all of the detail. Another type of view for the dependencies is the app connections view. So again, often people want to see it from a wider angle, if you like. I don't want to look at it just from one application. I want to look at it for everything. Generally, if you're looking at it for everything, it's a bit too big. There's too much on there. So you can filter this. So you could filter it by an application, for example, and you could choose the depth. So this is 1 step, but maybe I want to go 2 steps, or maybe I want to go 3 steps. Or you could filter it by an application capability. And you can also on here sort of draw the data object if you like. So within this scope that I've chosen, show me where customer address is being passed. And you can see the red lines here show you where that's being passed. And on this pop out here, I can see everywhere where customer address is passed between the between the applications and the ones that aren't shown on this view. So this is all of them, and the ones in red are shown on this view, which I've filtered by 3 steps to Add Excel, but these other ones aren't on there. So different ways of looking at that information. And we also have in here, again, something that a lot of people are interested in is the lifecycle view. So the lifecycle view works across technologies and applications. So from a technology perspective, I can see, for example, if .NET is coming up to end of life, I can click here and I can see which applications still use it. So again, that's the important information. Well, it's coming up to end of life. What do I need to do? And again, if I flick that over to applications, the same thing. Black curve may be coming up to end of life. If I click here, I can see the processes and the organisation still using it. So that's the action I need to take if that's going out of support. Moving on to the information layer, obviously we've seen some information in terms of the feed, the data and the information that's passing between applications, or we can look at a reference model. So this is showing your information reference model for an energy company. You've got your high level information concepts and then the views that are supporting them. And again, for the views, you can show the the data objects that make up that view. So it's really understanding the information used across your organisation. And then again, down in the technology layer, we've got our technology reference model. So again, these are the technology capabilities and components that I need across my organisation. You can see where you've got duplication. You can click here, for example, and see, well, actually, these are the components I need. These are the number of products I have providing each component. We found technology reference model tend to be quite big. So we've got this arrow here. So if I want to dive into the detail, I can then click on that arrow and I can, go up and down the layers. And that will show me the different products in here. And you can also see whether they're a standard or not. And again, if you go into one of these, you can get more information about this particular product. So we can see that this is retired. internally it's retired, but externally it's in general availability. You can see the components it provides, the applications that are using it, and therefore the processes that are supported. So that's the technology reference model. And then the last one in here, we have our strategic technology product selector. This is designed to allow people to do a bit of self-governance. So it's about making your standards available to the organisation, maybe to your solution architects, and they can do a bit of self-governance. So if, for example, you're creating a new application, you can define the technology capabilities that you need. So we'll select these ones. You can define criteria if there's specific things that are most important to you, like scalability or proven use, for example. And then you can look at your reference architectures to see which ones meet your needs. And then if you select them, it shows you down here the footprint. So we've covered everything, and actually the service quality fit is good. Then when you get to here, you can select the products. So for my cloud microservice, I need a proxy server, and I can see that these two products are permitted. These two would need a waiver. And the idea is that you can go through here and you can define what technologies you're going to use for your new application. And if you're all on standard, then you don't have to wait and go to the governance board. You've complied with the standards that have been set out. So you can just send off a report to the governance board, import this back into the system to say this is what I'm doing, back into Essential, and then you can carry on. So it's about making sort of your EA tool an enabler rather than a blocker. So that's a walkthrough of some of the views. I'm going to have a quick look at some of the way we maintain data, and then I'll have a look at some of the strategy management views. So in terms of the editors here, we have different editors for different things. So I'll just show you the application editor. Okay, and if we select our Add Excel, we can see here we've got different tabs across here. So I'm in the General tab. This is general information about this application. So I can see name, description, supplier as a drop down, for example. We can see here we've got some AI. So if you didn't have a description, you can use the AI to suggest a description for you, and it will go out and find that information. You can choose to confirm that or cancel it, or you can change it and then import that description in. So that's across all of the editors. And again, you've got all the information we understand about an application in here, and it's just a case of, clicking and selecting. So this may be a customized package, it might be in public cloud. We've got the disposition status, the lifecycle status. So you can either overtype on here, or you can select from the calendar. Here is where we describe the functionality or the services that this application provides. The editors all work the same. If you want to update it, you click this update button here. And we can see here that we've said Add Excel offers all of these services. If we want to remove one, we just click the bin. These are all the services our entire organisation offers, and you can select one from here if you want to add one in, or you can create a new one. And again, this is a button that you can choose to switch on or off. So you might have only the EA team maybe can create services, and other people can just select from the palette. That's up to you. The editors are all configurable, so you can set them up how you want them to be set up. And again, you can define your standards in here. So we can see here that there's a standard defined here. So this is recommended for all. I could change this and say, maybe actually this should be mandatory. So we're going to define this as mandatory. So again, you can define it for all, or you can select a particular organisation and say, well, actually it's mandatory for acquisitions, but for other people it's just recommended. That's up to you. This is how we connect applications to the business. So we can see here that these organisations use this application in these processes. And if we click on the three here, we can see that engineering, when they're doing the extend storage process, this is the functionality of this application that is used. Here we can see a question mark because I don't know yet. I know they use this application in this process, but I don't know yet what bits they use. And that's fine. You can come back and add that detail later. You can see the dependencies between the applications. So all of these applications are providing information to Add Excel. Some go direct, some go via an API. To add a new one, you simply drag on an application and then you select from your list. So maybe to pick one that's not already on there, maybe Workday is sending information. And then you can choose to join that up directly or via an interface. We can see that this line's red because I haven't added any information yet. So I haven't added the information that's passing. I've just said there is an integration. So you can go and add that Here's one we did earlier. If I click here, we can see it's energy trends information. It's via a batch file upload. I could change that and say maybe that's a direct API call now. It goes monthly, and it's populating this type of information. So again, you can add that information and update it in here easily. This is a technology that the application uses. So again, here we can see that for this application in its production deployment, it uses Google as its web browser, it's using Okta as a single sign-on, and so on. And it's hosted in AWS Frankfurt. And again, to update that, you just click the edit button. We can see we've got these things captured in here. You can choose to update them if you want to. So I could say maybe it's using Firefox. Or you can add new things on. Again, if I wanted to drag on a new technology product, I can drag one on. I can search for, say, client operating system maybe, and then it gives me all the products that we have, and I can select which one I'm going to use. You'll notice here, or you may notice, that this one's updated as well, and this is because we've defined that these two deployments are shared. So every time I update production or DR, the other one will update. This isn't shared, so this has stayed as Chrome. And again, that's something you can do in the setup. If you want to add another deployment, you simply pick it. You can choose whether to copy an existing one. So maybe I'm going to copy from production. I can choose to share it or not. And then it gives you a name and you can create it. And then I can go in and I can update that as I want to. And again, to select where it's deployed, you just click here and you've got all of your nodes here, your cloud deployments or your servers, and you can just add that in. You can define performance measures against your apps. So this is business fit and different forms of business fit, agility, functional completeness, regulatory compliance, and then technical fit, complexity, supportability, scalability. Again, you can add these. These aren't hard coded. You can pick which ones you want to add. You can pick your scores, and you can define, the score for each application. And again, add the cost. So it's quite easy to maintain. If you understand the application, you should be able to maintain data in here. Again, the editors are configurable, so you can split them up. So we've got it in one big application editor. You could choose to have, if you've got a business analyst that's going to maintain this, you could choose that they only get access to this part. Maybe, your person in charge of integrations gets access to this. Maybe you've got a tech team that gets this tab. So it's up to you. You can split them up and have them how you want to support your organisation. So just going to look at the other editor I'm going to look at, obviously we've got a lot, is the business capability editor. So if I go into the business capability editor here, you can see you've got your capabilities as a tree down here. You can expand and shrink them up. You can edit them. So again, with outage management, I could come in here and I could click to change the name or the description, add any stakeholders I wanted to. I can also here look for business processes. So again, this is about creating those business processes. I can select one from my list of business processes, but if I don't have any, I could use AI to recommend some business processes. So if I click this is going on and saying, okay, for outage management, typically, what are the processes that would support that capability? And again, you get a list here, there's 5. You can choose to bring them all in. You can choose to take some off. You can edit the words if you want to bring them in. You can create those capabilities and bring them in if that's what you want to do. As I said, in Essential, we map applications to capability via process. So you can either use that option of using the AI to create the process, or we do have a function that will just create a process from the bottom level capability. So it's just a one-to-one mapping. It's up to you what you want to do. So that's just a look at some of the different types of editors that we have. As I said, there is a lot of editors, but that's kind of how easy it is to maintain data. I was just going to now go and have a quick look at the transformation management portal. So again, all the same views, we've just put them in a different portal because typically this would be where you'd come to. So the two editors I'm only going to show you are the Business Model Portfolio Manager and the Proposal Editor. So if we go into the Business Model Portfolio Manager, what this is about, if there's something coming up for your organisation, a change, it could be reacting to something a competitor are doing or a new regulation or something that's coming out, you can create a new business model for it. And this just defines what the business model is, who the target customers is, what the goal is, so why this is important to you, and any key business events that are happening. So if it was a regulation, it's coming out at this time, for example. And then what you can do is you can create proposals to support this business model. And we can see here we have them in a funnel. And the way you create proposals is in the proposal editor. And again, you can give this to anybody. So anyone can have access to this, anyone that you want to have access to it. So it allows you to collaborate across your organisation. Everyone can put proposals in, and then, you know, they can add the information about it and you can assess them and make decisions. Again, we've got this in one big editor. Normally you'd have maybe the compliance and assessment and decision making elsewhere. You know, someone else doing that. So someone creating the proposal and someone else having this decision and approval capability. But again, up to you. You can split these up as suits your organisation. So in this proposal, we can see the business model it's supporting, we can see the name of the proposal, we can see the status of it, and then you've got different tabs. So you can see the value proposition, so why are you doing it? Who's the target customers? What's the motivation for you doing it? What's the scope, the geographic scope? What's the idea? So we're going to take advantage of Internet of Things, for example, and this is, you know, the trend that's impacting this. And then this is what we expect to happen. So is it going to reduce cost? Is it going to increase revenue? Is it going to do something else? Maybe it's going to increase customer satisfaction. But, you know, what's the benefit, if you like, of it happening? And then what's it going to impact? So again, which parts of my organisation is this proposal going to impact? It's going to impact on my business capability model, on different areas of my organisation, on my actual applications, or on my technologies. And you can define all the different impacts. Again, you can have what you want on here. You could add information on here if you wanted to. You could take organisation off. It's up to you. Once you've done that, you can do a RAID assessment. So you can add your risks, your assumptions, your issues, your dependencies, any opportunities and considerations that need to be taken into account. And once you've completed that, the system actually defines which principles it should comply with. So this isn't all the principles, this is one based on what you've entered that it thinks it should comply with. And you can go down here and say, you know, does it comply or not? And then when you get to the assessment part, you can actually assess it against these criteria. And again, you can change these if you want to. So cost, duration, integration, complexity. And you can see the actual, you know, how well it meets these needs. And then a decision can be made. And there's different types of decisions you can make. You could send it to go through to sort of an initial feasibility, or it could be a no-go decision. It could be sort of like initially you could just say, just do a light initial feasibility. We just want to have a quick look and see whether it's possible. But you can make that decision and you can confirm that. And once you've done that, then if we go back into our business model portfolio, we will see it will appear in here. So depending on the state of the decision and where it is in the funnel, it will appear in this list. So we've got some in here. And we can see this prioritize button here. This actually allows you to use the SAFE, the weighted shortest job first from the SAFE methodology to define the order. So again, you can say, well, you know, what's going to work in terms of what's going to bring most user value, what's most time critical. Maybe we need to do this first because there's a new regulation coming out. Then what's the most opportunity or removing the most risk, if you like. And then what's the biggest job? So if you've got something that's obviously, you know, the size of it, and it then orders it for you based on those criteria. So again, this is just based on the SAFE methodology. You can choose whether to have this on or off. So, you know, with these ones, you can just order yourself. With these ones, it's based on the SAFE, but you can choose which ones and whether you have it on or off. So that's a bit about how you can use the proposal editor. If you do decide to put your proposal forward and make it ready, it then becomes a strategic plan, if you like. And if we look at our roadmap dashboard here, we can see we've got our roadmaps and our strategic plans and projects. So something can move from a proposal into a plan actually and be actioned. So these are the roadmaps we have. If I expand this here, we can see that these are the strategic plans we have. We can either choose to look at them like this, and I could go and look at this particular plan and say, what is this plan doing? So between these dates, this plan is going to outsource these processes in this organisation. It's going to decommission these two applications, establish a new service. It's dependent on this plan. I'm doing it to support these strategic objectives, and these are the projects that are actually going to implement that change for me. You can choose to look at it, as I say, like this, or you can see the plans in your roadmap and you can choose to click on them and see this pop out. So again, same information, but here you're just seeing what the plan is, the start end dates, the objectives, the projects that are implementing it, and then the actual changes that the projects are making, rather than, you know, look at it as a summary. So again, it's up to you. It's the same information. It's whatever suits you best. You can also choose to look at it, we've got this split by roadmaps, but you could just look at all the plans, or you could look at all the plans on the projects, or you could look at a specific plan, and there's some filters up here. So again, this is showing you actually, you know, what you're doing, what changes am I making to my organisation to achieve my strategy. And another way of looking at that, again, we have this on our views, but I'll show you on this one specifically. This is similar to the capability model. These are your I'm looking at your business capability model just at the top level. And these are all the applications that support each capability. You can put overlays on it. So I could, for example, put business fit on it. I could put disposition lifecycle status on it as well. But this roadmap here, I can press play and this will apply the changes in my plans to this view. So you can see below that some applications are appearing, some are disappearing. So that's in accordance with what I'm doing in my plans. So what this is doing now is rolling the clock forward and saying, okay, at a future point in time, when my last plan ends, or you can obviously come in here and you can pick a date, what does my organisation look like? What does this view look like? And this is what this view will look like. And you can take a view and say, you know, is that good enough? Is that where I want to be? You can also expand here and you can get a table of what's actually happened. So what changes have been made. So that's, again, something around, there's some other views in here, but the key thing is around sort of strategy and transformation management. So I've been talking for a long time. I'm going to stop now and take some questions. So as I say, that's just really an overview of some of the key views in Essential, how we maintain data. So yeah, if you have any questions, then let me know.